What's up, folks? So this is going to be the first YouTube video you watch at an annoying angle where the phone's resting on a steering wheel, and you're going to watch it till the end. And you know why I know you're going to watch it to the end? Because I have some surprises for you. And those surprises will only be revealed if you keep watching. And trust me, they're good. They're almost as good as this hat. Yeah? Yeah? If it doesn't make sense to you, keep watching, and it still won't make sense. So, human connection is a form of currency which is worth more than any other currency, because human connection is the bridge through which energy exchange happens in society. Whether it's crypto, whether it's cash, whatever it is, whether it's trading, human connection is the prerequisite, the base, the highway for those cars of the currency types to travel upon. And the reason this is important is because we're losing our sense of this. We're somehow chasing the secondary thing. We're chasing the representation of human connection, but not the actual fundamental essence of the connection itself, at our peril, at society's peril, and at the cost of isolation, at the cost of a sense of meaninglessness. There is this meaning crisis, especially in the modern developed world, developed we say, where opportunities online, opportunities to become a personal brand and to scale yourself and to productize yourself are offering people a way to connect virtually. And many of those digital creators, take it from me because I'm kind of to some degree one of those people, are experiencing even more isolation than ever. And the broader picture here, you don't have to be a digital creator to appreciate this. The broader picture for everyone to listen to and understand is that if your wealth comes through status, then inherent in status is isolation. It's to be above, it's to be better than. And the higher your status, the more isolated you become. The higher your status, the less relatable you become. So do you really want status? To what extent do you want status? Perhaps there is a sweet spot, right? Perhaps I'm speaking from a sense of privilege. But it's important to understand that why do we want status? Love? Safety? Belonging? Does it give you creative opportunity to have status? Not really. Does it give you monetary opportunity? Maybe, if people want some of the status that you have via association. Is that kind of attention the kind of attention that you can trust to be wholesome, wholehearted, human? Or is it more likely the attention you'll get through being high status is based on scarcity, fear, people using you to monkey branch to a better way of living? Behind the mansions, behind the cars, behind the money, behind the status, behind the clothes is a desire to be seen and to be loved, to be seen as beautiful and to be loved by beautiful things. Now, when we look into the meaning of life is to witness and to be witnessed, to understand and to be understood. It is to see self in other. It is to transcend our body by feeling through our body. It is to create something that we perhaps didn't have. It is to take our life and take our traumas and our imprints and our struggles and see them as colors, paints, a tool set to write a different story with. Maybe you have a different meaning from the meaning that I have, but these are the meanings that I choose. The meaning of life, the meta meaning, is to recognize the ways we're making meaning, to let them go, to experience something which is unframed, deframed, undefined, beyond the mind, and then potentially to install and to create something that hasn't been created before. At least that's the artistic way. And I feel that the artistic way is the authentic way, it's the original way. It's where you leverage your uniqueness and you see the value in yourself and the value in everyone around you, and you see our equal belonging, you see our equal worth, and you see our differentiation as our strength and as our source of connection. So human relationships are how we differentiate. Human relationships are also how we connect. Human relationships are how we become inspired, and it's how we inspire others. You can have relationships with trees too, with animals, with the sky, with the earth, with the elements, and these relationships can be profound. And it's important that we have these too, because nature provides a tremendous amount when we can interface with her and understand her. And the human social structure can only provide so much, especially when it's limited by its own abuse of nature and its misuse of nature and its misunderstanding of the resources that are already here and the knowledge that is embedded in the natural world for us to uncover and to nourish ourselves with. I'm getting a bit too wordy. I'm gonna drink some of this. You're still watching. You're still watching. If you've left, then you're not watching. Point is, we chase currency, right? We chase money because we want safety. We want security. We want to arrive at a place where things are okay. And deep down in everyone's mind, when you sift through the layers of the psyche, we all have this fear of death. The psyche has a fear of death. The psyche has a fear of death because it's not alive. Sounds funny, sounds weird. Think about it. If you're in the presence of what is, then you are not missing out on anything. And how could you conceive on missing out when things are so full? How could you be worried about missing out when things are so full? When you're utterly present and everything is here for you, that's eternal. There's no sense of time, there's no sense of now or later, there's no sense of scarcity. There's just this richness of experience. When you have no preference about what experience is right and wrong and good and bad, then that becomes even richer. And even something like pain can become color on the canvas, and it's part of the artistic process. It may not be normal to experience life this way. You may think that it sounds far-fetched and esoteric and weird and woo, but what if that is just psychological conditioning from a world where we live in an idea of our heads, which isn't even our actual head? We live in the idea of a past, the idea of a future. We live in this meaning machine, which never quite grasps the fullness. It never arrives, it never gets there, it never saturates itself in itself. It can't, because it's separate. The psyche is a reflective thing. By the time you've reflected, the moment's gone. All problems exist in the past and in the future. In the present, there are no problems, because the present moves faster than thought. It moves beyond belief, and that is the essence of what we all are. Okay, so now I probably sound like a spiritual, quasi, fucking whatever dude who's just talking shit. Human connection is how we forget about needing to manipulate past and future, because we recognize that we are part of something which transcends us right here now. Everything that could happen through the future, or everything that could happen through the past, is now, and we are more than ourselves now. Well, through ourselves, we are more than ourselves. Through ourselves, through ourselves, we are beyond ourselves. We saturate, we bring the mind into the senses, and we feel the world, and what we find is a desire to connect, to interface, to interact. That is the current that flows through us. That is life expressing itself through us, craving love. Life and love are the same thing. Life craves love because love is the connected version of life that exists beyond itself. Love is the transcendent. Love is whatever layer or size of sphere you're looking at. However big your world is, love is the thing that transcends the boundary. Love is when life transcends its own boundary. And that happens through human connection. Money? Low tech. Crypto? Low tech. Low tech. Fun, cool, interesting. Tools? Like rocks. They're like rocks. It's like using rocks to make a weapon or using wood to make a fire. Useful. Depending on when we need them and if we need them. Not inherently valuable, just useful. A stick is not inherently valuable, a rock is not inherently valuable. I mean, they're interesting, they're cool, but the inherent value is the connection and creation, the opportunity, and nowhere does greater opportunity exist than in connection with the world, through humans, through nature, through our bodies. This is the fundamental, vital substance. This is the stuff. This is what we all really, really, really want beneath all the other wants. To be seen a particular way, to be understood a particular way, to be able to continue with life so that we can have more connection and more experience. I challenge you, if you doubt this idea, to dig through everything that you've ever wanted and look at what you really, really wanted and what that would give you and what that would give you and what that would give you and who you would become, and you'll arrive at a desire for unity. A desire for unity, for a beyondness that comes through you. So that's the video. Human connection. One of my friends, I don't know if she'll see this, said, I create and I paint in my relationships. My relationships are where I store my value. Think about this. When you die, do you live on in your bank account? Do you live on in your car? Maybe you live on through your work if you put your soul in your work, but how does your soul come through your work? It comes through your work when someone is there to engage with your work. You are whole in yourself, and you can get even more whole with others. It's through others that we are able to transcend our limitations, and that the ripple, the impulse, the life, the love, that which animates us, that which is vital and important and of substance, can come through and be felt by the collective. If you're isolated because of your status, if you're isolated for any reason, you are not wealthy. There must be a connection to something. Thou shalt worship a god, a generator, an operator, a destroyer, G-O-D. Thou shalt worship. No matter what you think you believe, no matter whether you think you're godly, religious, not religious, there is something that, practically speaking, you worship with your time and energy and focus and intention and attention. Thou shalt worship a god. So what will your god be? Your god is that which you choose to connect with. That is your god. There's no such thing as a godless world, because all things are generated, operated, and destroyed via a process of connection and interaction. So there you go. How are you going to shape your life according to these values, if these values resonate with you? How are you going to choose to become and embody and display and lead this? How are you going to appreciate it when you see it? How are you going to look for and speak to this in the world? How are you going to amplify? By paying attention, because attention amplifies things. Some questions to sit with. For me as well. Alrighty.